want to share a few things that I think are important. There's an American phrase, some of you may have heard about it, working in the business or working on the business. So I think it's incredibly important to have a perspective of working in the business. So that's like this view of the grass. It's the day-to-day work product. It's what we do and we deliver. Whether we're a hotel or an agency like me, a supplier, a vendor, a DMC, and regardless of our position or our role in that business, we need to focus on working in the business and then working on the business. And so I want to talk a little bit about the things that I think are important, that we think are important at nVent, about working in the business, and then those things that actually you need to pay attention to working on the business. So it's 5 things that we think are really important. Adapt a challenger mindset. It doesn't matter how big you are or how old how long you've been in the business. You need to have sort of that teenage spirit and be a challenger. There are 3 incredible companies that I would speak to that are challengers. Some would argue they're market leaders, but they have kept this sort of challenger mindset and challenger belief, and that's why we all know who these brands and companies are, in my opinion. Be authentic, on brand, but be disruptive. So Vicky, I think, on the panel yesterday said that on average it takes 15 touch points to create a sale. So I would take that a little broader and say it takes 15 touch points to turn a non-believer to a believer. If you combine that with the fact that we are bombarded by 20,000 messages a day, I think that's 7 a second or something like that. So I just thought of 7 different things on top of what I'm saying right now, and you guys are now thinking about 7 different other things. In order to actually create impact, you've got to be disruptive. So an example of that in my world, we did a launch for Adam Opel about 5 years ago at the Paris Motor Show. We took the launch off of the stand at the show because they didn't have enough money to compete in this incredibly noisy marketplace. We took it out on the streets of Paris. We designed an experience that was on brand, on point, on message to Adam, the vehicle that they were launching, but was completely disruptive. The net result was it was the 3rd highest covered event or launch of the Paris Motor Show that year. You can take that all the way to this. This is incredible to me. This is a love note that was written by a guy to a girl. Things I love about coffee. Coffee's hot. Coffee makes me excited. Coffee's good enough to have every day. Coffee smells good. Coffee makes me nervous sometimes. Coffee gives you the warm and fuzzies. And even when coffee is too strong or still weak, it's good. Things I love about you, pretty much the same. So simple love note, but the guy stood out. He got her attention. They're celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary this year. So it works. Be on point, be on brand, and yet be different. Creating shareable content. So this is one that I don't know that fits into everybody's purview, but I think it does. It's really important in creating successful, impactful events to have shareable content. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. We have amazing, amazing tools at our disposal. They're inexpensive. We should be leveraging them. And again, I'm trying to think of everybody in this room. I think there's a way, no matter what your role is or what your business is within this industry, create shareable, reusable content for a variety of reasons. We call this the 5 Ds. This is one of those sort of textbook things, but I think it's important to follow these. No matter what the objective is of what you're doing day in and day out with your role, it's really important to sort of go through a discovery process. So what are my tasks today? Well, what do I need to accomplish them? What do I need to do to accomplish them? Then you can begin to define sort of what your objectives are and how you're going to go through getting to where you want to be. You develop a plan of action. You deliver on that plan of action, and then I think it's really important to debrief. So again, if you're a manager of a team of people, this is a very interesting concept that we use in the agency world that I think could be put into practice regardless of what you do. Gather audience intelligence and set KPIs. This is one that I think is really important for our industry, but again, regardless of your role, it's important to understand who you're communicating with, what they're interested in hearing about, and more importantly, what your goals and objectives are, so key performance indexes. And then measure against whether you've actually satisfied those KPIs. Because otherwise you get up every morning and you go through life and you don't really know whether you're moving forward or you're moving backwards. And so this is also all about setting goals.